I'm here at the Hattiesburg Grand, about to watch the 1517 to Paris, the true story of the attempted terrorist attack on a train that was thwarted by three heroes. So, about to watch the 2:45 showing, and then I'm going to do a Psycho BABBLE movie review on this. It's been a long time since I've done one, especially from the theater instead of just a DVD or Blu-ray.
Bonjour, vous désirez quelque chose?
Snacks coming at 12 o'clock.
Gentlemen? There you go.
Thank you.
Look at the baby soda, Spencer.
Alex, shut the heck up.
Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority over your life. But you can only do that through the struggle of life. And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. When you're working on a dream, at some point in time, a transition takes place. You learn how to leap higher. Start challenging yourself to dig deeper. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there. Don't try and take any shortcuts. Do what you know is right. We've been chosen for this great work.
I don't know, man. You ever just feel like life is just pushing us towards something? Like some greater purpose?
Okay. So you saw where I filmed the intro to this Psycho BABBLE edition of the film The 1517 to Paris. Well, I'm not going to give any spoilers. This is a true story, and many of you already know the story behind the 1517 to Paris. But for those of you who don't know, this is going to be a surprise film for you. And even for those of you who do, there are things in the movie that you don't expect the movie to show. And so I don't want to go too deep into it, so this is going to be a record fast Psycho BABBLE movie review. Are you ready? Okay. Let's start with the first thing. Alright, I saw the movie at the Grand 16 Theater in Hattiesburg. I saw a 2:45 show today on a Sunday, and it was packed. Mid-afternoon on a Sunday. The most unique facet of this movie is the fact that 87-year-old director Clint Eastwood used the actual three heroes from the story, from the real-life event, to play themselves in the film. Without going into too much detail about the format of the film, what I really loved about it was that it showed when they met, these three guys. It was in their childhood. They've been friends, so basically been friends for their whole life. Because not only are we showing you the real guys, but now we're going to go back and trace their childhood and their teen years. And every once in a while to remind you what the movie is about instead of a flashback, because we're already predominantly there's a large part of the movie that is a flashback to their childhood. there's these little clips of what's going on the train, as flash forwards, if you will. And I love that facet. Now, I will say this, and I did not count that's against the film at all, but the only things that you will notice is that in the scenes that showed them as children, some of the scenes came off just a tiny bit fake or corny, but that's because you're asking these grown men to now account for or reaccount for things that they said to each other at special moments in their friendship back when they were that young, preteen. And the way that you would word things as an adult is different than the way that you would word things as a child. So some of their language, and I don't mean cussing, I mean some of their language, their vocabulary are words bigger than what children that young would use. So it does come off a little bit fake at times with the scenes flashing back to when they were kids. And then you can, if I'm going to be honest, during the review, you can tell that the 3 stars are the real 3 heroes and not actors, because there are times that they are a little bit dry and forceful and speeding through their lines instead of taking the time to do some of the acting with their body movements or their facial expressions the way a seasoned A-list actor would do. But that's a good thing, because I don't want to see Matt Damon playing one of these 3 guys. I was very excited to see the actual 3 men who were heroes that day reliving that day to show all of us what happened. And I loved it. But towards the end of the movie, you don't even think about that anyway. You actually kind of grow to really like these 3 guys, and you can't wait to see them handle this terrorist. And the terrorist, referred to as a lone wolf by the media, was actually part of ISIS. And these guys were heroic beyond measure, because the guy had a backpack full of over 300 rounds for his automatic assault rifle, and he also had a handgun, semi-automatic handgun, and a box cutter that we know of. He could have had other box cutters, more knives. That didn't get highlighted because, quite honestly, he didn't get to the point to where he could try to utilize everything he had in his backpack because of these 3 heroes that tackled him. The first one had to run directly at the gun while it was aiming at him, and it didn't fire, or he'd be dead. That's how brave he was. And while wrestling with the terrorist takes the handgun out and puts it against his head and tries to fire. And it either jammed or there was nothing in it, because it didn't fire again then. So it leads up to a very thrilling climax for this movie, because you know that it actually happened. You know it's accurate because these are the actual 3 guys who lived it that are acting in the movie, so you have to believe that this is exactly the way it went down. Wrap it up. Just to wrap it up, because I already feel like I've said too much about the movie. You got to go see the 1517 to Paris. Inspirational, true, and you get to see the actual heroes reliving the days and even years that built up and led them down this path to become heroes, American heroes. And in the closing footage and in the credits, you'll see some clips that are real footage, actual footage of them being awarded certain medals, and it's mixed with footage where they recreated that. It's very cool, and it's hard to tell the recreation from the original, but you can tell some of it's original footage, which is just super, super cool for authenticity reasons and because it's an emotional story. I never give a 10 out of 10, so let me, if at all possible, I can say this. Even with the things that I said, it sounded like I was pointing out flaws. They're not flaws. They're things that you can point out, but thank God that it wasn't done by Hollywood actors. I would rather see these guys play themselves in the movie. Excuse me. So I'm still giving it a 9 out of 10. The 1517 to Paris, 9 out of 10 on a scale from 1 to 10. Go see it. Don't wait for DVD or Blu-ray. Wait to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray, but don't wait to see it on DVD or Blu-ray. Go to the theater, see it on the big screen, do it justice. Nobody in that theater talked through the movie. Nobody was lighting up phones. They all respected the story, the heroes, and they wanted to hear and see the story. If you bring it home, you're going to get interrupted by knocks on the door, friends. You're going to be on your phone, the kids. Go see this at the movies. Highly recommended. The 1517 to Paris. It's playing now. It started 2 days ago on Friday, and I give it a 9 out of 10. But then again, what do I know? This is all just a bunch of psychobabble. So you have to go see it and judge for yourself. And with that, goodbye.